Science achieving energy sustainability. What's one good way to do that? Trying to give you a clue here. In a small village in African nation of Malawi, a 14-year-old boy, his name was William Wamba, which I'm going to call him William from now on because I don't want to butcher his name. He and his family did not have enough food to eat, and famine gripped his country. And his family could not pay taxes that were required in order to send him to school. So, school taxes are common in many parts of Africa, and a child whose parents cannot pay the tax, they cannot go to school. So instead of attending school, he spent his days at the public library, and that was funded by the U.S. government. He was trying to teach himself different things. In the library, he studied one book over and over, and the text was called Using Energy. On the cover of the textbook featured a series of windmills. Although William had never even seen a windmill, within months he was building his own. From these abandoned bicycle parts and old parts of scraps found around, William used the fundamentals of physics that he learned from this one textbook, Using Energy, and his inherent skills as a thinker to basically fix things. He did not have any teachers or mentors, but he did rely on assistance from some of his friends. He worked really hard at this and made many attempts to construct something that, in his world, would be seemingly impossible. At first, his neighbors thought that he was mentally disturbed or even he was practicing magic. But when he was able to illuminate a small light bulb at the top of what he called his junk tower, people rushed from great distances to see it. And he basically became a local hero. William had generated electricity without any conventional fuel and far from the nearest power plant. Because there was no visible input like fuel and no waste piles or pollution outputs, in many ways it did seem like magic. William used the electricity he generated from wind to light his house and to charge cell phones and eventually to irrigate his family's crops. The use of windmills, also known as wind turbines, to generate electricity is growing, and in both developing and developed nations. So the mechanics of how to build a windmill are widely discussed in online sources, including YouTube, Wikipedia, and how to build it, like instructional videos, are also pretty available. A few years after he built this first windmill with the help of only this one book, and after learning about the vast resources that were available to him through the internet that he didn't have previously, he was invited to The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and he said, where was the internet when I needed it? Because he didn't have that before. Well, William has recently graduated from Dartmouth College, where he majored in environmental studies, and he's now co-written a book, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. And it was sold thousands of copies, and he's been adopted as a summer reading in even some high schools and colleges around the United States, as well as all the way around the world. Throughout our lessons here, we've discussed sustainability as the foundation of environmental health on our planet. Sustainability is particularly important to consider with respect to energy because it's a resource that humans cannot live without, and energy it's got often a lot of consequences for the environment. Currently, only a very small fraction of the energy that we use, particularly here in our developed world, comes from renewable energy and renewable energy sources. The developing renewable energy sources is an important step in achieving energy sustainability. And it will require us to rely much, much more on not only that, but also reducing the amount of energy we use. So in this unit, we're going to discuss the finite nature of traditional energy resources like fossil fuels and the environmental consequences of them. We're also going to outline the components of a sustainable energy strategy, beginning with ways to reduce their energy use through conservation and efficiency. We defined renewable resources of energy. We're going to do that, and we're also going to discuss the importance of carbon-based energy resources like biomass, as well as energy that is obtained from flowing water. And then we're going to describe innovations in obtaining energy from non-carbon things like sun, wind, and the internal heat that comes from the earth, and even hydrogen. And then we're going to wrap up here with a discussion about what is in our future. What does our future hold when it comes to energy?